On December 30th, 2025, electric violinist Brian King Joseph sues Will Smith, claiming he found a disturbing note in his Vegas hotel room that read, "I'll be back no later 5:30, just us," along with HIV medication and items suggesting someone was coming back for an encounter. Days later, he was fired for reporting it. Now new footage goes viral revealing what Will Smith's life has become, and it's not what anyone expected.
A violinist is suing Will Smith, claiming retaliation after he alleges that he was fired for reporting sexual harassment while on tour with Smith.
December 30th, 2025. A lawsuit lands in Los Angeles County Superior Court that sends shockwaves through Hollywood. Electric violinist Brian King Joseph is suing Will Smith personally and his company Treyball Studios Management. The accusations: sexual harassment, wrongful termination, and retaliation after reporting what Joseph claims was one of the most disturbing nights of his professional life. Joseph isn't just any musician making allegations against a superstar. He's a professional electric violinist who placed third on America's Got Talent, Season 13. November 2024, Smith hired him for what should have been the opportunity of a lifetime: the Based on a True Story 2025 tour. Smith's first album in 20 years, his big comeback after the Oscar slap, his chance to rebuild his reputation.
Brian King Joseph filed the lawsuit in California earlier this week, accusing Smith of deliberately grooming him for sexual exploitation. Joseph says the two began spending time alone together during Smith's tour.
The lawsuit details how Smith and Joseph developed what seemed like a tight professional bond. They performed together in San Diego and collaborated on album tracks. According to the complaint, Smith told Joseph something that, in hindsight, feels deeply uncomfortable. "You and I have such a special connection that I don't have with anyone else," Smith allegedly said, along with other expressions indicating closeness.
Well, Miley, Will Smith is being sued by a former violinist in his tour group, accusing the rapper of sexual harassment, wrongful termination and retaliation. In the lawsuit, musician Brian King Joseph names Will Smith along with a management company, accusing both of predatory behaviour and grooming.
March 2025, Las Vegas. The tour was gearing up for its European and UK leg. Joseph was performing at the House of Blues at Mandalay Bay. During rehearsal, his bag went missing. Management said they'd handle it and retrieve it for him. Hours passed, and by the time Joseph got back to his hotel room around 11 p.m., something felt wrong.
It also details an alleged traumatic series of events, that's a quote, including Joseph finding that someone had allegedly entered his hotel room while he was not there. After reporting the incident to police, he alleges a representative for Smith accused him of lying and fired him. Smith denies these allegations. NBC News correspondent Liz Kreutz joins us now.
No forced entry. Hotel security would later confirm that. But someone had been inside, and what Joseph found waiting for him painted a disturbing picture.
So here's what we know. According to the lawsuit, the violinist Brian King Joseph says last March, while in Las Vegas for a performance, he returned to his hotel room to find random items, including a beer bottle, HIV medication, and a note that said, "Brian, I'll be back later, just us." Now, the lawsuit says the plaintiff feared that an unknown individual would soon return to his room to engage in sexual acts with plaintiff.
The note read, "Brian, I'll be back no later than 5:30, just us," followed by a drawn heart, signed Stone F. According to the lawsuit, Joseph immediately understood what this meant. Someone planned to return, someone expected him to be there, anticipating a sexual encounter.
Now, I'm going to read you this next part from the complaint verbatim, because you may also be asking, well, how does he know that someone was in his room? Quote, "The evidence included a handwritten note addressed to plaintiff by name."
The panic must have been overwhelming. Joseph did everything right. He called hotel security, contacted the police non-emergency line, took photos of everything, and reported it to Smith's representatives. He created a paper trail, and he wasn't staying in that room another minute. He requested an immediate room change. Hotel security reviewed the footage, checked keycard access logs. The findings were damning. No forced entry because none was needed. Only tour management had access to those keys, suggesting that someone from Smith's team had entered that room while Joseph was at rehearsal. Days later, a representative from Smith's team called Joseph, but instead of concern or an investigation update, Joseph got something else entirely. The exact quote from the lawsuit is devastating. The representative told Joseph, "Everyone is telling me that what happened to you is a lie. Nothing happened. You made the whole thing up. So tell me, why did you lie?"
Joseph claims he was fired after reporting sexual harassment while on that tour and suffered from PTSD and economic loss.
Victim blaming at its most brutal. Joseph, who'd reported a potential sexual assault, who'd found evidence of an intrusion, who'd documented everything properly, was being accused of fabrication. Then came the termination. The tour was moving in a different direction, they told him. Another violinist was hired immediately, slipping into Joseph's spot like he'd never existed. The retaliation couldn't have been more obvious. Joseph's career, his investment, his opportunity, all vanished because he dared to report what happened.
For what happened in that Las Vegas hotel room incident, and that Joseph was ultimately fired. Quote, when plaintiff requested for further reasoning, Tim Miller, acting on behalf of defendants, redirected the blame for the termination onto plaintiff.
Joseph's lawsuit lays out multiple claims: wrongful termination, retaliation for reporting harassment, severe emotional distress, PTSD. The complaint alleges Smith had been deliberately and blaming Joseph for sexual exploitation from the start. The financial devastation hit hard. Joseph had invested thousands in equipment, preparation, medication for the tour. He'd turned down other opportunities, put his career on hold for this chance. Now he was labeled a troublemaker, potentially blacklisted, his reputation in tatters. Days before filing the lawsuit, Joseph posted a video explaining his decision. He wanted the world to understand why he was taking this step and why silence wasn't an option.
Earlier this year, I was hired to be a performer on a major tour with somebody who is huge in the industry. So I was excited, proud of myself for getting the opportunity. Unfortunately, some things happened.
He's seeking unspecified damages, letting a jury decide what this violation is worth. The economic losses, the emotional trauma, the career damage. Punitive damages are on the table too, meant to send a message that this kind of retaliation won't be tolerated. January 1st, 2026, Smith's attorney Alan B. Grodzki fired back with a statement. "Mr. Joseph's allegations concerning my client are false, baseless, and reckless," Grodzki declared. "They are categorically denied, and we will use all legal means available to address these claims and to ensure that the truth is brought to light." The defense was ready for war, promising an aggressive legal strategy.
A lawyer for Will Smith has issued a statement saying these claims are false, baseless and reckless, and he will use all legal means necessary to ensure that the truth is brought to light.
The timing couldn't be worse for Smith. This lawsuit dropped right as Hollywood was under a microscope following the Diddy scandal. The Me Too movement was experiencing a resurgence. Industry accountability was front and center. Smith, already dealing with reputation damage from the Oscar slap, now faced allegations that could completely derail his comeback. Based on a true story, was supposed to be his redemption arc. First album in 2 decades, meant to mark his return to music after years focused on acting. The tour ran from June to September across Europe and the UK. 26 dates, 9 headlining shows, the rest festivals. This was Smith trying to remind the world why he mattered, why he was more than that one violent moment at the Oscars. March 2022, Smith got banned from the Academy for 10 years. His reputation took a massive hit. Every comeback attempt since has been haunted by that moment. And just when it seemed like he might finally move past it, this lawsuit lands. The lawsuit alleges a pattern, not an isolated incident. The grooming allegations, the special connection comments, the convenient disappearance of Joseph's room key, the intrusion with its disturbing evidence, the immediate retaliation after reporting. The complaint argues these facts together paint a picture of predatory behavior, of someone using their power and celebrity to exploit their position. This case, if proven in court, would represent more than just one man's trauma. It would expose the mechanisms that keep predators protected in the entertainment industry. The immediate retaliation after Joseph reported, the gaslighting accusation that he fabricated evidence, the swift replacement with another violinist. These are textbook intimidation tactics designed to silence victims and send a message to anyone else thinking about speaking up. The legal battle ahead will be brutal. Discovery will be exhaustive. Every text message, every email, every witness will be scrutinized. Joseph will have to relive his trauma repeatedly in depositions and potentially at trial. His credibility will be attacked, his history examined, and his motivations questioned. This is what happens when you take on a Hollywood giant. But Joseph filed anyway. His reputation in the industry is now tied to this lawsuit forever. Whether he wins or loses, he'll be known as the guy who sued Will Smith. And while this lawsuit paints a disturbing picture, it isn't the only allegation tied to Will Smith. Years earlier, someone who stood beside him for decades was already breaking his silence. For 40 years, Bilal Salam walked alongside Will Smith as more than just an assistant. He was the trusted friend, the confidant, the man who held the keys to private spaces and private moments. But in November 2023, that bond shattered in the most public way imaginable.
You looked at my Instagram, you see the hundreds of celebrities that I've done business with, done things with. During the latter years of our relationship, Will was not my friend. I was his friend. I was around before they had Trey. Jada was the woman that everybody wanted.
The words hit like a bomb. After decades of loyalty, Bilal was done staying silent. His appearance on Tasha K's platform wasn't just gossip. It was a full-blown revelation that painted a picture nobody expected. Bilal described a moment from years earlier, one that allegedly happened in Duane Martin's dressing room. He claimed he had keys to the space, was looking for Will on set, and what he witnessed changed everything he thought he knew about his famous friend.
And you have to go if you want to work with them. And then I saw actual acts that I walked in on.
Who'd you walk in on?
Him and Duane Martin.
Okay.
Hollywood is the hurry up and wait game.
The response was immediate. Will Smith's representatives came out swinging, calling the allegations completely fabricated and unequivocally false. But Bilal wasn't backing down. He stood firm on every word.
Oh boy, Hollywood is full of drama today, y'all. Jada Pinkett and Will Smith are reportedly getting ready to sue Will's best friend of 40 years and former personal assistant, brother Bilal, because he claimed in an interview with Tasha K that he caught Will and Duane Martin in a trailer having aggressive sex.
Jada Pinkett Smith appeared on The Breakfast Club, laughing off the claims, but with an edge in her voice. Her message was clear. This wasn't just celebrity gossip anymore.
Because it's one thing to have your opinion about somebody versus just making up salacious, malicious stories. So that's actionable. So we're gonna roll with that.
But here's where the story gets even messier. December 1st, 2025, Bilal filed a $3 million lawsuit against Jada Pinkett Smith. Not Will, Jada. The suit accused her of intentional infliction of emotional distress, claiming incidents that stretched back years before his viral interview ever happened. According to the complaint, everything started at Will's birthday celebration on September 25th, 2021, at the Regency Calabasas Commons. Bilal alleges that Jada approached him with approximately 7 members of her entourage. The atmosphere turned hostile fast. He claims she became verbally aggressive, telling him that if he continued telling her personal business, he would end up missing or catch a bullet. The lawsuit paints a picture of intimidation. Bilal says Jada demanded he sign a non-disclosure agreement, or else, then followed him to his car with her team, continuing the threats even as he tried to leave. The message, according to him, was crystal clear: silence or consequences. But what exactly was this personal business Jada allegedly wanted buried? The lawsuit doesn't spell it out completely, but the implications are dark. Whatever Bilal knew, it was serious enough to warrant alleged death threats, serious enough to chase him through a parking lot, Serious enough that years later, the tension still hadn't died down. Fast forward to March 2022. The Oscars. Will Smith walks on stage and slaps Chris Rock in front of millions. The world explodes. The Smiths are in full crisis mode, and according to Bilal's lawsuit, that's when things escalated again. He claims a mutual friend reached out, asking him to help with crisis management for the family. But Bilal refused, stating his conscience wouldn't allow him to participate in what he believed would be illegal, unethical, or morally compromising tasks. He wanted no part of any cover-up. That refusal, he says, triggered a retaliatory campaign. Suddenly, Bilal claims he was receiving threats from people in Will and Jada's inner circle. His name was being dragged through the mud. Associates were calling him a liar. Media outlets were being pressured. The goal, according to his lawsuit, was to systematically destroy his credibility and his career.
And then the rumors of Will Smith being gay and having gay relations with, who was it with?
Diddy?
I know, right? Hold on.
Industry insiders started weighing in. Comedian Luenell suggested that if anyone had answers about these allegations, it would be Tisha Campbell, Dwayne Martin's ex-wife. She hinted that the rumors surrounding Dwayne had been circulating in Hollywood circles far longer than most people realized.
But I mean, and then there's, what would be said and what wouldn't be said. But, I've heard more rumors about Dwayne than Will.
Then came Bilal's interview with Tasha K in November 2023. The claims he made went viral instantly, racking up millions of views. Major media outlets picked up the story. Entertainment shows debated it. Social media exploded, and through it all, Jada kept threatening legal action but never actually filed anything. Until now. But there's another layer to this story that makes it even more complicated. In October 2023, just weeks before Bilal's explosive interview, Jada dropped her own bombshell. She revealed that she and Will had been secretly separated since 2016. 7 years of living separate lives while maintaining the image of a happy marriage for the cameras. 7 years of what she called a complicated arrangement that the public never knew about. So why stay together publicly? The speculation is endless. Brand protection, career considerations, the kids, financial entanglements. Or maybe something deeper, something about maintaining control over their narrative in an industry that devours scandal like oxygen. Sources close to the couple told People magazine that Will and Jada are really mad about the lawsuit. They see it as nothing more than a money grab, calling Bilal an opportunistic person out to exploit them. Another insider described him as someone who became a blabbermouth after years of being trusted with intimate family details. But Bilal's lawsuit tells a different story. It claims he suffered devastating consequences from the alleged campaign against him. Financial losses, reputational destruction, physical health problems, including the onset of high blood pressure and type 2 diabetes. He says he gained 100 pounds from the stress. His personal life derailed. His career opportunities vanished. Industry doors that were once open suddenly slammed shut. The breakdown of his $3 million demand paints a comprehensive picture of someone whose life, he claims, has been completely upended. Lost business deals, emotional trauma, the inability to work in an industry where reputation is everything. According to Bilal, Jada's alleged threats and the subsequent smear campaign didn't just hurt him, they destroyed him. The lawsuit also addresses something Jada said on The Breakfast Club back in 2023. She claimed Bilal had attempted a shakedown related to compensation for work on Will's memoir. She said they'd offered him money, but he refused it, and that's why all of this started. But Bilal fired back in a statement saying, "There was no shakedown, period." He insists he has evidence to prove Jada is being untruthful. Reports suggest that Jaden Smith took the allegations particularly hard. The young artist, who identifies as sexually fluid, allegedly struggled with seeing his father's sexuality questioned so publicly. For a family that built their image on openness and progressive values, this level of scrutiny cut deep. Meanwhile, the 7-year separation revelation added context to everything. Were the alleged threats in 2021 about protecting that secret? Was the post-Oscars crisis management about maintaining their carefully constructed public facade? The timeline suggests a family desperately trying to control multiple narratives simultaneously. As for why Will and Jada have stayed together publicly despite their separation, sources point to the complexity of their situation. They share 2 children. They've built empires together. They're co-parents, business partners, and by their own admission, family in the truest sense. The idea of disentangling all of that isn't just complicated, it's nearly impossible. And yet, here they are, separated but not divorced, living separate lives but presenting a united front, fighting lawsuits together while maintaining they're on different paths. The contradictions stack up like evidence in a case nobody quite understands. The $3 million question isn't just about money. It's about what happens when loyalty breaks down, when the person who knows everything decides silence isn't worth it anymore, when 40 years of friendship combusts into courtroom accusations. Will and Jada insist they're moving forward together, even apart. They call themselves a team. They support each other publicly. But Bilal's lawsuit suggests the cost of that image might be higher than anyone realized. The alleged threats, the pressure campaigns, the systematic destruction of someone who refused to play along. The next hearing in Bilal's case is scheduled for March 9th, 2026 in Van Nuys, California. Whether his claims hold up in court remains to be seen, but one thing's already clear. The narrative the couple worked so hard to control for nearly a decade has completely unraveled, and no amount of crisis management can put that back together. By late 2024, the allegations, lawsuits, and online speculation had reached a breaking point. And for the first time, Will Smith broke his silence. On stage. December 12th, 2024, Observatory North Park Theater in San Diego. Will Smith is performing his new song, Tantrum, when something shifts. The energy changes. He's not here just to rap anymore. He pauses, looks out at the crowd, and decides it's time to address what everyone's been whispering about. The world's watching, the memes won't stop, and Will Smith is about to draw the hardest line of his career. It's a moment nobody saw coming. Here's Will Smith, Oscar winner, global superstar, the Fresh Prince himself, having to publicly defend himself at a concert. Not about the slap, not about Jada, but about Diddy. The memes had been relentless. Photos from years ago resurfaced, showing Will and Diddy together at industry events. The 2008 Hancock premiere, the 2009 NAACP Image Awards, normal Hollywood networking, suddenly weaponized in the age of viral speculation. And Will had stayed quiet, until now. What he said next cut through every rumor circulating online.
Nowhere near that man ain't none of that stupid so whenever y'all hear it, if somebody say that, it's a damn lie.
But he wasn't done. He needed people to understand how the internet noise was affecting him. How hard it is to separate truth from fiction when you're constantly tagged in memes linking you to someone facing federal charges. The timing couldn't be worse for Will. He's already dealing with multiple scandals, already fighting to repair a reputation damaged by the Oscars slap. Now Diddy's name gets attached to his, and the internet runs wild with it. Critics weren't buying the victim narrative, though. Dr. Rashad Ritchie, hosting his show Indisputable, had thoughts. It's the double standard that gets people. Will stayed silent through Jada's entanglement revelations, stayed silent through countless other rumors. But these Diddy memes, those crossed a line. The allegations Diddy faces aren't minor. Federal charges, sex, trafficking, racketeering. Over 1,000 bottles of baby oil and lubricants seized from his homes. The infamous freak-offs described in court documents. This isn't Hollywood gossip, it's a federal case. And that's the environment Will Smith found himself defending his name in. Not at a press conference with lawyers and prepared statements, at a concert between songs. Unprompted. He even tried to lighten the mood with a joke, referencing those 1,000 bottles found at Diddy's properties. I don't even like baby oil, he told the crowd. What makes this moment particularly striking is how selective Will's been about what he addresses publicly. The internet has said plenty about him over the years. The slap alone generated months of content. Yet he chose his words carefully then, staying mostly quiet.
Yeah, they'll get their new home in the Hamptons that I'm sure they're looking for paid for with these two cases and anything else they've done. Will Smith first, you're right. I don't know why he's reacting to this one. They're still calling him a simp.
Hollywood's been watching the Diddy situation unfold with growing anxiety. Jay-Z got named in a lawsuit December 8th, accused alongside Diddy of raping a minor in 2000. Jay fought back hard, demanding the accuser reveal her identity, calling the allegations heinous, and saying anyone who would commit such crimes should be locked away. The message was clear: deny everything, fight aggressively, protect the brand. Most celebrities connected to Diddy have gone radio silent. Strategic silence, letting lawyers handle everything behind closed doors. Ashton Kutcher's old interviews praising Diddy's parties came back to haunt him. Leonardo DiCaprio's photos from the famous white parties in the Hamptons resurfaced. But no public denials, no concert speeches, just silence. Will Smith broke that pattern. Maybe because the memes hit different when you're already fighting to save your reputation. Maybe because staying silent felt like confirmation. But the denial opens new questions. If Will really has nothing to do with Diddy, why address it at all? Why not let the memes die naturally? The fact that he felt compelled to speak suggests the speculation was gaining traction in ways that threatened him. The pressure's coming from multiple directions now. Bilal, allegedly Will's ex-best friend, gave an interview to Tasha K making serious allegations about Will's behavior. Then there's the Brian King Joseph lawsuit, accusing Will of sexual harassment. Jada's continued public revelations about their marriage. It's a cascade of reputation damage. Will's lawyers are calling everything baseless and reckless. Standard legal defense language, but multiple accusers telling similar stories starts to create a pattern that's harder to dismiss. The Smith family's silence on certain topics has become deafening. Red Table Talk used to be their platform for radical transparency, where they discuss anything and everything. But when it comes to these lawsuits and allegations, nothing. No episodes, no statements, just lawyer-speak and denials through representatives. According to reports, cease and desist letters had been sent, legal pressure applied, hush money allegedly offered. But Bilal refused to back down, refusing to apologize. The situation was escalating beyond social media speculation into potential legal warfare. 50 Cent's been on a victory lap, producing his Netflix documentary about Diddy, claiming he warned everyone years ago. His career's actually benefiting from exposing his former friend. It's the opposite of silence. It's aggressive truth-telling for profit and vindication. Meanwhile, Will's living separately from Jada in that $48 million Miami mansion, maintaining the appearance of family unity while everyone knows the truth. The facade's crumbling publicly, piece by piece. The discovery process in the Brian King Joseph lawsuit could reveal more information Will would prefer to stay private. Depositions are coming, documents will be filed. The legal machinery grinds slowly, but it grinds thoroughly. At 56 years old, Will Smith's looking at a legacy in flux. Oscar winner, yes. Global superstar, undeniable. Bad Boys franchise, iconic. But now also the guy who slapped Chris Rock at the Oscars, the guy in the open marriage tabloids, the guy denying Diddy connections at concerts. This is Hollywood's reckoning moment. Post-Me Too accountability isn't going away. Power structures that protected abusers for decades are crumbling. Names that seemed untouchable are getting touched. And Will Smith, standing on that San Diego stage, delivered a message that was part denial, part plea, part warning. I don't have shit to do with Puffy. Whether people believe him determines what comes next. The memes might stop, or they might evolve. The lawsuits might settle quietly, or they might go to trial with cameras rolling. What's clear is this: silence was no longer an option. The pressure built until even Will Smith, who's navigated decades in Hollywood, who survived countless controversies, felt he had no choice but to speak.